Matt, your assessment on tonight's defeat against Wrexham, please.
Yeah, it's obviously frustrating. We can see 4 goals. You can see 4 goals from home. You can see 4 goals at home. You give yourself an absolute mountain to climb. I think at times we showed a little bit of naivety with the goals, whereby obviously the second one's a massive mistake. The third one I think is a foul on Donovan in the far side, so that kind of takes our momentum away a little bit. And then the fourth one, we're chasing the game a little bit, but again a mistake on that one. So frustrating that the mistakes were there. We have to eliminate those mistakes, and we certainly have to do it away from home because you give yourself no chance of winning a game. You can see 4 goals. In and amongst that, in and around all that, I thought we created some good chances. We looked threatening at times. Obviously, there's a big moment with Sturkey when it hits the post and comes out and we don't quite finish it off, which can obviously change the game. And then, as I say, the moment when Donovan gets blatantly fouled and we don't get that, so we fall the wrong side of that. But of course, I thought at the moments that counted in the game, they were just decisive on them, and they were more decisive than we were. So that's probably the biggest frustration from me tonight, because you know when you come to any away ground in the division, you have to stand up, be counted, be strong, be resilient, and tonight we fell just the other side of that.
You're 2-0 down after 20 minutes. How costly was that start, and how do you now rectify those mistakes that have happened in this game? I think it's 10 goals conceded in the first 3 away games. How do we go about, making sure those individual errors aren't happening in games?
Yeah, well, of course, if we make mistakes, it's very difficult because no one goes out there to try and make a mistake, and no one goes out there and tries to be in a position to concede a goal. Of course not. Obviously, it's new relationships. We're a new team, so there's elements where we've got to trust each other a little bit more. Trust each other with when someone's calling or whatever, makes a big shout for it. Trust that we know what's going on with it. But then when a mistake does happen, which they always will, I've said it from the start, we have to then be really good at the next bit and really good at helping our mate out when they've made a mistake or whatnot. Because again, as long as I've been around this division and the ones above, I'm sure mistakes will happen. We have to just be really good at when they do come, helping each other out with it. So as I say, there was that element of a little bit of it was frustration. The goals were many of them, 3 of them were completely avoidable, and as I say, one of them I think is a foul. So that's the frustrating element to it.
It was a good response to go in 2-0 down. It's a fantastic set piece. Chris Hussey arriving right on the money there, and you talk about those fine margins in games. If Ryan Sturck's fantastic effort goes in, it could be a completely different game, but they go down the other end moments later and kill the momentum off, don't they?
Yeah, it's a foul, so yeah, that does happen. But I think everyone who's here, it's a free kick. So that's the frustrating thing. I think we've started the second half really well. We spoke a lot about our outside centre halves being able to step in and playing passes in front of their 2 centre forwards to eradicate them, which I thought we did. We penned them back in and we looked threatening, but as I say, it didn't quite happen for us in that spell that we had. And then you're always running the risk then of conceding another one to knock the stuffing out of you, which we unfortunately did. And so tonight we fouled the wrong side of these moments. We did, and the only key thing for me now is thinking, okay, what's next? What do we do next? What do we do next to put things right tonight? And what do we do next to make sure we're ready for another tough game away at Crewe on Saturday? So. That's what now I'm focused on. Obviously frustrated with fantastic support here today, and I thought there were, as I say, we could have gone the other side of the result quite comfortably and quite easily, but today that we fell just the wrong side of a couple of mistakes, and as I say, a really poor referee decision.
You're going forward into Saturday's game. A couple of lads not involved tonight. An update on the injured boys who've been out.
So Knowlesy, the similar sort of thing. He's probably a couple of weeks away. Priestley, unfortunately, probably still a couple of weeks away. It hasn't quite come together for P in the way that we hoped it would. So he's a little bit longer than we thought, but again, probably very similar time frame to Tom. So that's the frustration. Combs, he's got he's got a tear in his ankle, so he's further down the line with it. He's 6 to 8 weeks with it. So, but that's part and parcel of it. We've got a squad, and I'll always see it as, obviously we're disappointed they're not involved. We look forward to having them back, but it's the next person has to do their job, which we will, and we'll learn, and we'll learn together, and that's the only way to get through any period where you can see goals and going into a next game where you want to win it. You can only do it together, which we will, and we'll dust ourselves down as we have to, in the same way that we did after Stockport on Saturday, and we'll look to kind of rectify tonight's result on Saturday.
Their injuries being a little bit longer term, does that then force your hand in the final couple of weeks of the window, or are you still just looking to add that 1 or 2 bodies in?
I think we've got a really good squad, so I'm happy with the squad that we've assembled, with the knowledge that you're going to get injuries. I think without doubt we're playing longer games now, so the squad's going to be tested for certain. But I think, as you say, that I wouldn't suggest that they're Thomas and Priestley are longer term. It's just a little bit longer than we'd hoped, so they're only a couple of weeks away. So I think we've got a good squad. It's, we're learning from each other all the time. We're learning about each other. Relationships don't form overnight, and we're gaining experience together. Listen, I'm very happy with the squad we've put together, and just looking forward to us all being fit.